Most professionals will spend years building their career, whereas celebrities spend years building their personal brand. And sometimes the biggest names in an industry aren't necessarily the most talented. They know how to strategize, to reinvent, and to stay relevant. And there is a lot that the average professional can learn from a celebrity's playbook. So grab your cup of tea and let's talk about how to build your personal brand like a celebrity. Celebrities don't build careers, they build brands. And the same principles that apply to celebrities can apply if you are a CEO, a consultant, a creative, or no matter what profession you are in. Instead of simply asking yourself, how do I grow in my career? Ask yourself, how do I become recognizable? How do I become valuable? How do I stay relevant? I got the idea for this episode when I was listening to a podcast and I heard someone talk about Taylor Swift as a marketer. And he said that no matter what you feel about Taylor Swift's music, you can't deny that she is a brilliant marketer. And I know this is something that is often talked about in the business world and in the entertainment industry. But as someone who has worked in marketing for over 15 years, I would go as far as to say that Taylor Swift is perhaps one of the most brilliant and the best marketers that our era has ever seen. You can't deny the impact that she has been able to have because she has built her empire around her personal brand. Now, as I've talked about in an earlier episode, I do feel that celebrity brands to some degree are becoming increasingly irrelevant. They are being replaced by influencer brands, by influencer marketing and the creator economy. But I also recognize that so much of the success that influencers have been able to see or creators have been able to see is because they have borrowed from principles that were established in the celebrity marketplace. And now celebrities seem to be borrowing from influencer culture and emulating a lot of what they are seeing in the creator economies. So I do think that there are a lot of principles that apply to the average professional in both cases. And there's a lot that we can learn from the celebrity playbook. So number one, I would say to build your personal brand like a celebrity is to become the new media. Now, traditionally, celebrities used to sell things like backstage passes for meets and greets, documentaries. They used to sell their stories to publishers. And while they still do, more than ever, they are taking you behind the scenes in a way that emulates a lot of the influencer or the creator culture. And this shift is something that I really started to think about more when I read the book Influence by Sarah McCorkadale. And she says, the word influencer is symbolic with a new kind of media mogul. One who is independent, industrious, and has capitalized on their online popularity to launch further creative projects and a successful startup. She also goes on to say, a brand can't be a person, but an influencer can. Essentially, theirs is the business of being human and telling stories about it. So, because of their ability to turn their audience into communities and online attention, this means that influencers of all kinds have become the new media mogul. So previously, celebrities used to partner with media outlets or maybe even fear what their take on them would be. And now many of them have become the media themselves. They have built audiences and created communities around their personal brands. So for example, take someone like Victoria Beckham, and I'm going to be using a lot of different celebrity examples in this episode. She has established this, relatively speaking, relatable personality through her Instagram profile. So while she once had a particular persona, especially when she was Posh Spice and part of the Spice Girls, and even after that, during her marriage to David Beckham and in some of her other pursuits. When she started her Instagram profile, she established more of this relatable presence where she shared a lot of her behind the scenes and her family life, for example. But who I do think is perhaps one of the most profound modern day examples of someone who has turned their celebrity into a media empire, into being a media mogul, is Reese Witherspoon, and the way that she has built her brand, Hello Sunshine, into a $1 billion business, into this empire. And she was able to do that because she understood the power of her community, which is my point number 2. And that is that the best celebrity brands, or the most successful celebrity brands, have built communities and market a movement. And this is a real point that Sarah McCorkadale makes in the book Influence. She talks about influencers as having this idea of being community builders. So they don't love the word influencers, but they love the idea of creating community. And in the book, she says, broadly, they believe their value lies in their ability to build communities through consistent, relatable, authoritative, and regular content. And this was something that Reese Witherspoon understood really well, because a lot of her empire was built around the phenomenon that she created with her Reese's book club and the community that she created around that. And this has also been reflected in the Hello Sunshine mission. And their mission says, change the way women are seen through storytelling. So essentially, the company isn't just built around Reese's personal brand. It's built around an idea. It's built around a movement. It's focused on a particular kind of storytelling for a specific audience. And what Reese is a really good example for is my point number 3, which is skill stacking and portfolio careers. Now, while celebrity life may seem glamorous on the surface to some, when you read celebrity memoirs or when you watch a lot of in-depth celebrity interviews, what you may find, or what I have seen in at least some of the things that I have consumed, is that a lot of celebrities share some of the same fears that the average professional does. They are often worried about where their next paycheck is going to come from, because a lot of them do contract work or they do project work. They're working on a film, for example, or a TV show, or they've just released their latest album. Or even if they are someone who has had, say, long-term success in an iconic television show, for example, a lot of those celebrities don't know what will happen if and when that show ends. So the most commercially savvy celebrities stack their skills. They diversify their investments. They build their portfolios. And there are a ton of examples that we can go through when it comes to celebrities that have skill stacked and have built their portfolio. So let's go through just even some of them to give you an example of what I mean about diversifying your investments and building your portfolio. So for example, if we continue with Reese Witherspoon, for example, she has diversified her skills into acting, into producing, into directing, into a production company, into brand partnerships, into her book club, and into other investments. Then if we have a look at someone like Taylor Swift, she obviously has her singing, but she also has merchandise, she has stadium tours, she has documentaries. Someone like Victoria Beckham, since her singing, has fashion, she has beauty, she has documentaries. And David Beckham is invested in the football club space. He has brand partnerships, he has his own documentaries, he has investments in the beauty space. And then if you take someone like Ed Sheeran, for example, he has singing, he has songwriting, he has stadium tours. And if you take someone in a completely different space, like Gordon Ramsay, for example, he has restaurants, he has cookbooks, he has cookware, he has his investments into television and into digital media. They are all celebrities who have thought beyond their original talent. They've thought beyond the thing that made them a celebrity to begin with and diversified their investments. And when this actually works really well is when celebrities don't just diversify their investments into anything, but they diversify into areas that they are knowledgeable about or that they're particularly interested in, or that are industries that are adjacent to what they were originally in. So, for example, if you take someone like Gwyneth Paltrow and her building the brand Goop, what started off as a lifestyle media brand, as a newsletter, evolved into this wellness and lifestyle company, one that now spans beauty, fashion, books, podcasts, live events, and other branded products as well. My point number 4 is to create a signature style. Now, when we're talking about building a portfolio career or stacking your skills, this can take some time to do. And the thing about a signature style is that it can be, in some ways, a much quicker win for building your personal brand like a celebrity. And when I talk about building a signature style like a celebrity, this isn't about having the most glamorous, boldest style that you can imagine, the loudest style that you can imagine. This is about having a signature style or having things that are identifiable and recognizable for you and your style. So, for example, if you look at how celebrities have applied this mindset, this could be something like Steve Jobs and his signature black polo necks and t-shirts with jeans. This could be Anna Wintour and her dark sunglasses that she is known for. You also have Michael Jackson and his gloves. You have David Beckham and his tattoos, Tom Ford and his black suits, or Coco Chanel and her tweed and pearls and her monochromatic color palette. Now, if you are thinking more about defining your sense of style, defining the signature style for your personal brand, then I have done a couple of other episodes that could be helpful for you in this space. And that includes an episode about how you can level up your visual brand and create a more signature style identity for your personal brand. And I've also done an episode about color decoded and understanding more the psychology behind color and how you can make more intentional choices when it comes to the color palette of your personal brand or the colors that you wear as a part of your personal brand. And my point number 5 is a really important one to why celebrities are able to stay relevant, and that is the art of reinvention. So we might be, for example, talking about Taylor Swift's latest era. This could be when Ed Sheeran started to venture into rapping in his music as well. This could be when Jennifer Aniston, post the success of Friends, started to do more movies as a part of her acting brand too. Celebrities have a way of embracing the art of reinvention better than most people because they constantly have to make sure that they are staying relevant. So while some of their new ventures may come from an interest in them wanting to push themselves or to grow their skills, a lot of the time it is because they are choosing to evolve with the market. They know that that is essential for their own survival. And I think that that is a lesson that a lot of professionals can also apply to their own lives. It's to constantly be thinking about how the market is evolving, so you don't find yourself being left behind, or you don't find yourself realizing that the market has evolved so quickly and it's too late for you to do something about it. Celebrities are constantly paying attention to how the market is evolving. So, for example, if you take someone like Reese Witherspoon, she more recently expanded the Hello Sunshine brand into the Sunny brand, a sister brand for Hello Sunshine, which is targeted at Gen Z. So, she is evolving with the market. And a lot of the time, reinvention isn't about this idea of just becoming someone new. It's about growing up with your audience, growing up with your community. So, as we've seen with someone like Taylor Swift, for example, her music, her storytelling, her songwriting, her style has evolved as she has grown, as she's grown up with her audience. And reinvention doesn't always need to be this huge dramatic change. It can take many forms. It could be, for example, a new haircut. It could be a new hair color. It could be a new sound, a new sense of style, a new product or service. It could be a new project that you are working on. It could be you engaging on a new platform or creating content on a new platform. This signals to both yourself and to a marketplace that you are growing, that you are evolving, that you are entering a new chapter. And this is something, again, that celebrities do really well because they often find themselves having to shake previous identities that they were so heavily associated to. So, for example, if they played a role in a TV show or they did roles in movies that were a particular style, they often want to get out of this idea of typecasting and venture into other opportunities. So they have to some degree leave behind those past identities, which is something that professionals can sometimes struggle with. We sometimes associate ourselves so strongly with previous roles that we have had. Those titles that we were really proud of, but to some degree are actually the things that are holding us back from the potential that we have going forward in our next chapters as well. And this is something that psychologists describe as identity inertia, where we hold on to these past identities because of this familiarity that we have with them instead of evolving with changing circumstances. And while letting go of these identities can feel uncomfortable, it is necessary for our evolution, for our ability to adapt, for our ability to stay relevant. And letting go of this older version of yourself that maybe no longer represents who you are or who you're becoming. So, building your personal brand like a celebrity isn't about seeking fame. It's about evolving, adapting, ensuring that you are staying valuable to a marketplace, about mastering your craft and finding other ways to build upon that craft as well. Thanks so much. Subscribe for more like this, and I'll see you in the next episode.